Hey Homespot friends, ready to breathe calm into your small outdoor space? Today we are leaning into Wabi-Sabi, where weathered textures, simple shapes, and honest materials create quiet magic. If your patio or pocket garden feels busy or bland, this episode is your gentle reset. Stay with me as we uncover subtle moves that add soul, serenity, and presence. Welcome in, take a slow breath, and let the garden set the pace. Center your eye on a single, time-worn boulder that feels as if it has always belonged here. Its softened edges and quiet heft ground the space, while a thin collar of moss hints at seasons already lived. Let generous negative space surround it so the rock can breathe and the garden can exhale. Subtle gravel crunch underfoot, muted greens, and gentle shadow play deep in the sense of age. In a small yard, the restraint is the magic. One anchor, one story, patient textures, and a calm horizon where every imperfection whispers that stillness is not empty, but complete. Imagine a low, stone basin tucked into a sheltered nook, its surface murmuring with a bamboo drip, drop by patient drop. The sound is small yet expansive, rinsing away haste and inviting attention to linger. A kneeling stone suggests humility. A cuff of moss suggests memory. Pebbles scatter like stars around the quiet pool, while a slatted screen filters light into soft ribbons. Everything is purposefully underscaled, so the ritual of water feels intimate. In this narrow space, you encounter time slowing, textures breathing, and a miniature ceremony where the ordinary becomes sacred through repetition, restraint, and care. Step into a tiny archipelago of moss where every tuft holds its own weather. Dew clings, light grazes, and the ground rises in soft, slow waves. Irregular stones loosely frame the patch, not to confine it but to heighten its hush. A single fern frond bends like a bookmark in a well-loved page. The palette stays quiet, chlorophyll and shadow, clay and memory. Within limited square feet, you gain an expansive feeling of depth because moss turns the floor into sky. It is a contemplative threshold, asking you to move softly, notice patience, and welcome gentle change. Picture 3 to 5 uneven stones drawing a line that never fully straightens. Space the steps irregularly, so the feet must attend, and the mind must match their modest rhythm. Fine gravel fills the gaps, muffling the world and simplifying the palette. Between stones, small mosses and tiny ferns thread a patient seam. Shadows stretch across surfaces like slow calligraphy. In a small garden, this path is not about getting somewhere. It is about learning how to go. Each step modulates your breath, asks for balance, and quietly teaches that meander is sometimes the most direct route. Consider a narrow panel of bamboo, imperfectly bound and gently bowed, breathing with every breeze. It filters the view, not to hide the world, but to slow it into calm silhouettes and soften lines. Shadows fall in narrow bands across gravel and moss, shifting as the day pivots. The screen's modest height is intentional, offering the feeling of enclosure without weight. Knots, fibers, and weather marks remain visible as proof of life lived. In close quarters, this sliver becomes architecture and instrument, tuning the garden to a lower key where privacy and openness share the same note. Place a single charred wood plank as a small bench or edge, its matte black grain engraved with fire's memory. Against pale gravel and measured greens, the dark reads like ink in generous white space. Sit, or simply see. The object's purpose is both. Hairline fissures, subtle sheen, and clean geometry signal quiet confidence. In a compact garden, the piece behaves like punctuation, a period that calms sentences, a pause that gathers meaning. You do not need more detail, only more attention. Heat has already done the ornamenting. You provide the stillness that lets its whisper be heard. A cracked terracotta pot, repaired with gleaming lines, turns fracture into feature. Plant a single arching grass so movement traces the mended seams, reminding you that repair is not disguise but celebration. Place the vessel where morning light finds it, warming clay and catching gold. Surround with openness so the story can expand. A few stray pebbles, a quiet shadow, perhaps one fallen seed. In small spaces, it plays like a gentle bell, ringing resilience without spectacle. You witness a vessel that carries time as well as soil, lifting imperfection into grace and usefulness into luminous presence. Introduce a small stone lantern whose rough surface is slowly being written by lichen. At dusk, a tender glow schemes the openings, unhurried and warm. Moss gathers at the base like a shawl, and fallen needles script brief poems around it. The lantern is not a spotlight. It is a companion. Place it where edges soften and corners become conversations. In the smallest garden, this quiet node organizes space by feeling, not geometry. Light, texture, and a slow apprenticeship of weather create a sanctuary for attention, where seeing less allows you to notice more, and evening begins to breathe. Stand one piece of driftwood upright, a calligraphic stroke held in air. Its twisted grain and bleached tones record a biography of salt, sun, and time. Set it into gravel with a modest stone wedge, then step back until the negative space begins to hum. Let late light draw out contours. Let a small fern bow at its base. In a tiny yard, this singular gesture becomes sculpture and sentence, a word spoken slowly. Where others add, you subtract, trusting the line to carry the meaning. Silence gathers around it, and the garden learns to speak softly. Reserve a one-person sanctuary, a low wooden stool with honest grain, a tiny tray, a single cup. Nestle it beside a dwarf maple whose leaves filter light into breathing color. Gravel underfoot steadies the moment. A small pot nearby anchors the scene. This is not a room or a corner, but a permission slip to pause. The scale is intimate. The details are few. The invitation is clear. Sit, exhale, taste, look. In 90 seconds, you are recalibrated. In a meter of space, you rediscover proportion and the difference between passing time and time that passes through you. Set a shallow bowl where sky can come down to rest. On still days, reflections sharpen. On breezy days, ripples sketch soft rings across the surface. A solitary leaf floats, drifting like a slow thought. Moss gathers around the lip, and a few pebbles lie inside as quiet punctuation. The bowl does not announce itself. It collects atmosphere. In a small garden, this horizontal mirror expands the vertical world, doubling leaves, having haste. Passers-by lean closer, voices drop, and the day becomes audible. Water is the simplest magic. It makes room for what is above to belong below. Gather 3 to 5 fine-texture grasses and let them choreograph the air. At dawn, dew turns each blade into a filament of light. At noon, shadows write delicate lines on gravel. At dusk, the clumps exhale warmth. Keep the palette restrained so movement reads clearly. A few small stones tuck into the base, grounding the buoyancy. In limited square footage, these living strokes deliver change without clutter. They ask nothing but occasional trimming and periodic attention. Watch them bend and recover, telling a quiet weather report. Wind from the west, patience from within, a forecast of gentle resilience. Designate one flat stone as a place where leaves may land and remain. Do not tidy it, witness it. Over days, the arrangement edits itself. An amber curl, a crimson fan, a speckled oval. Moss outlines the stage. Late afternoon light directs the scene. In honoring this humble theater, you also honor time in public. The garden becomes a ledger for natural departures, and beauty finds you through subtraction. In a small space, such acceptance enlarges the feeling of depth. You learn to see endings as textures, pauses as punctuation, and change as the most faithful companion. Bury a chipped urn on its side, letting dark gravel pour from its mouth like a quiet, perpetual cascade. The fracture is honest, the story is open. A sprig of moss at the rim suggests life nearby, not performance. Place the composition slightly off-center, giving space for absence to speak. Evening light lengthens its shadow. Morning light warms the clay. Within a compact footprint, narrative unfolds without words. Where release continuity. It is a still life of passage that invites empathy for objects and seasons alike, reminding us that usefulness continues beyond original intention. Cut a modest opening in a simple screen to frame a distant tree, roof line, or sliver of sky. Keep the foreground minimal, a patch of moss, a small stone, a breath. The aperture becomes a lens that teaches focus. What lies beyond feels larger, and what lies within feels more intentional. Weathered fibers around the edge speak softly of patience. Move an inch, the picture changes. Move back, it returns. In a small garden, this gesture turns centimeters into horizons. It is a way of editing the world with kindness, choosing what to see, and seeing it fully. Erect 2 unmatching posts, one wood, one stone, to imply a threshold without a door. Their slight lean and surface marks confess their histories, while a narrow path slips between with quiet purpose. Passing through becomes a small ceremony, not arrival, but readiness. The scale is gentle, so the invitation remains personal. Nearby plants nod, gravel hushes, and shadows elongate the gesture. In close quarters, you do not build a portal. You acknowledge one already felt. Crossing here changes nothing and everything, reminding you that attention is the only key and presence the only room. Introduce a miniature pine and a squat stone, then give them emptiness as a third companion. Light pruning suggests age. A weather-softened face suggests endurance. Set them in respectful asymmetry so their dialogue can be heard. Moss, sparingly applied, knits the scene. Morning light reveals quiet textures. Midday simplifies forms. Evening deepens the conversation. In a small courtyard, this duo evokes hillsides and distances not present yet fully felt. You are not arranging objects. You are staging relationships, living and inert, vertical and horizontal, persistence and patience, held together by a silence that feels like home. Place one low, warm path light beside a mossy patch where pebbles gather like tiny constellations. After dusk, moisture lifts into sparkle, and the garden turns whisper bright without glare. Weathered metal softens the fixture's outline. An irregular stone nearby anchors the glow. Shadows go gauzy, edges blur, and the space expands into quiet. In a small yard, this is not illumination for tasks, but for thought. It reveals just enough to invite lingering, tracing textures, hearing crickets, tasting air. The night becomes a companion, and your footsteps slow to match its gentle, measured cadence. Thanks for spending time in this calm corner of nature. We explored how moss, stone, wood, and soft light can transform even the smallest garden into a grounded, living sanctuary. If these wabi-sabi ideas spark your next outdoor tweak, tap like so more people find it. Subscribe for thoughtful design inspiration, and drop a comment with your favorite detail or question. Until next time, keep it simple, present, and beautifully imperfect.